Wasim had always been drawn to the strange and unexplained. Haunted houses, abandoned factories, strange signals on the radio. He chased them all, camera always in hand, hoping to capture something real. One evening, while scrolling through a dark forum thread, he read a post titled, "Siren Head is real. Silent Pines is where it lives." It had one image, blurry and dark, of something tall in the trees, and a warning, "Don't go to Silent Pines. He hears everything." Wasim's heart raced. It's probably fake, he told himself. But that didn't matter. If there was even a chance, he wanted to see it with his own eyes. By the next morning, he was driving down an empty rural highway, trees lining both sides like guards keeping secrets. GPS didn't work here. The road ended at a rusty metal gate, half open. A decaying wooden sign nearby read, "Silent Pines Forest, closed since 1972. Someone had spray painted over in red. He listens. Wasim stepped out of his car and grabbed his gear, flashlight, batteries, drone, and his trusted DSLR camera. He took a deep breath of the cold forest air. The silence was unsettling. No birds, no wind, just the soft crunch of his boots on the dirt. As he passed through the gate, the trees seemed to close in behind him. There was no turning back now. Somewhere deep in that forest, something was already listening. The deeper Wasim walked into the forest, the stranger the atmosphere became. The trees stood tall and unnatural, like old statues watching him pass. The path beneath his feet faded into wild roots and scattered leaves, almost as if the forest was trying to erase any way out. He paused to take a few pictures. Twisted tree trunks, a broken swing tied to a branch, an old shoe half buried in the dirt. The place felt untouched for decades. And yet, something felt close. Then he heard it, a low, distant wailing sound. Faint at first, like a siren echoing across a valley. But there were no cities nearby, no roads, no emergency vehicles. It didn't sound mechanical. It sounded alive. Woohoo! Wasim turned off his flashlight and crouched behind a fallen log, heart pounding. He held his breath and listened. The siren faded. Then came a new sound. A voice. "Hello. Is someone there?" It was a girl. Her voice was soft and shaky, like she was crying. But something felt off. The words repeated. Exactly the same, with the same rhythm, like a recording stuck on loop. "Hello. Is someone there?" Wasim's stomach turned. He lifted his camera slowly and began recording. Suddenly, a loud crack snapped to the trees behind him. He spun around, flashlight shaking in his hand. But there was no one there, just branches swaying gently, though the air was still. And then, from far deep in the forest, the siren blared again, louder this time, closer. W-A-S-R-R-R. Wasim ran. But with every step, the sound seemed to follow, not from behind, but all around. Wasim stumbled through the undergrowth, branches clawing at his clothes, heart hammering in his chest. He didn't know how far he had run, only that the siren was behind him, or above him, or inside his head. Then, through the gaps in the trees, he saw it, a tall, rusted firewatch tower rising above the canopy. Its metal frame was half covered in vines, the stairs barely intact. But to Wasim, it looked like safety. He sprinted toward it and climbed, breath ragged, legs shaking. Each step groaned under his weight. The siren had stopped, replaced by an eerie silence, the kind that makes your ears ring. At the top, the small cabin creaked in the wind. He dropped to the floor, trying to calm his breathing. From this height, he could see the forest stretching endlessly in every direction. And that's when he spotted it. Movement. Far below, just at the edge of the clearing, stood a figure, impossibly tall, thin like a telephone pole, its head split into two massive sirens facing opposite directions. Even from this distance, he could see its skin, stretched, dry, discolored, like something that was never meant to live. Wasim backed away from the window, camera shaking in his hands. He pressed record, but as he zoomed in, the creature suddenly twitched, its head turned, one siren slowly angling toward the tower. Then the sound hit. Not a siren, not a voice, but his voice. "Wasim, why are you here? You shouldn't have come here." The words came from the siren itself, a perfect mimicry of his own voice, played back with static distortion. Wasim froze. Then, thud, a heavy step, thud, another. The creature was moving toward the tower. Wasim's mind raced as he backed away from the window of the tower. Every instinct told him to stay hidden. But the heavy footsteps growing louder below told him it wouldn't matter. The metal stairs squealed as something began climbing them. Step, creak, step. He pressed himself into the corner of the small cabin, hand over his mouth to silence his breathing. His camera kept recording, not by choice now, but because he couldn't bear to move. His hands trembled. Then the siren spoke again, no longer in his voice, but in many voices. A child crying, a mother screaming, a soldier shouting commands, a man whispering prayers, all twisted through static, overlapping, looping, like memories stolen from 100 victims and played back at once. Wasim, why did you come here? We told you not to listen. He couldn't take it. He bolted out of the cabin, leaping down the stairs 2 at a time, not caring if they collapsed beneath him. Behind him, the sirens blared, a deafening roar that shook the tower. Why, her... He hit the ground running, light flickering wildly. His ears rang. His thoughts blurred. All he could hear now were the sirens and voices echoing inside his head, his own memories being twisted, repeated, weaponized. You're not supposed to leave. You belong to the forest now. Trees blurred past him. Roots clawed at his ankles. But somehow he kept going until the sound stopped. Just like that, dead silence. And that was even worse. Wasim collapsed in a clearing, lungs burning, ears still ringing from the echoes of sirens. The forest around him was silent, too silent. No wind, no birds, just the crackle of dead leaves beneath him and the soft hum of his camera still recording. He looked up. No tower, no Siren Head, just trees. But he didn't trust it. He slowly reviewed the footage on his camera, skipping past shaky images and distorted sounds. Most of it was just static. But then he paused on one frame. His breath caught. There, in a single frozen image, taken while he ran, was Siren Head, standing right behind him, arms stretched wide, mouthless, but still screaming through the sirens on its head. Wasim hadn't heard it because it hadn't needed to be loud anymore. It was that close. He stared at the screen, paralyzed. The video ended in a single flicker, then a final burst of static, and one whisper, nearly inaudible, "Next time, bring someone else." Wasim didn't sleep that night. He didn't talk about it to anyone. But a week later, the same Reddit thread he first found had a new post, written by a different username. Just got back from Silent Pines. Didn't see anything. But I heard this weird sound. Anyone else ever been? And attached below was a single, blurry photo, the same clearing, the same woods, and a shadow, impossibly tall, waiting among the trees.